So Bernie Sanders not walking through that door. Right? He doesn't care what I think. He's not calling. But if he did, and I was paid to state how I would change my message, what stuff I would point out to him so that he could win the Democratic nomination, if he could possibly win the presidential election, here's what I'd tell him about healthcare reform. I'm J.O. I am the author of Maximize Your Medicare. You can see it here. It'll be up there in a few moments. Yes. MaximizeYourMedicare.com as the website pulls up. It's the 2019 edition. It's available. You can click on links on the website. You can go and check it out on Amazon.com. It's not only the book. On the website exists podcasts, YouTube videos. You can ask me your private questions, your first questions, the 5,000-foot view. You can give them to me and ask me something. Your answer will come for free. Medicare information sits on the site, premiums, Medigap, as well as these important links. Just that you may not know, there are so many resources online. Some official, some not, some that look official or are named using names of official stuff. Looks and sounds official, isn't. Some advertisement. Here's the place I only post official things here. They either deal directly with the book or directly with the government. Free newsletter. It's there. You can fill out the form. It comes once every week, once every 2 weeks, right to your inbox. Next year, this version, the 2020 edition, will be released nationwide by Skyhorse Publishing. I was happy to sign that publishing agreement earlier this year. My nose has been down at the grindstone creating this new edition. It'll be out in February 2020. Subscribers to YouTube, the newsletter, as well as the Facebook group, the closed Facebook group, you'll get special offers as the book come closer to release in February of 2020. Today's not my first day. Not only have I written a book, but I've been asked a lot of different questions by a number of different people in the public as far as what I thought to give to information to share with everyday people, everyday life across the country. I've done so in person, in public speaking as well as on radio. And you can also see me in the print as well. And this website is coming up shortly, I hope. Let's just give it a moment. So you'll be able to see me on marketwatch.com. You can see me on usatoday.com. You can see it here. And my quotes in this article that are slowly going to be up here on your screen. Yes, there we go. That was earlier this year. In the past, I've been on other websites. It's not my first drill. CNBC.com in years past. The common thing about the book, my quotes, the information that I'm giving here, and that includes today, is this is more about information that people don't know, filtering throughout all the noise that you hear. Now, normally I don't enter into political stuff. I'm not a fan of our political process. It's no fun. It is way too heated, and it then the conversation devolves into a place where we don't want to go. We just have and mud hurling. I'm very, and you can see it right here. So, for example, Facebook group, right? Just a moment ago, I mentioned a Facebook group, and it hasn't stopped people from actually doing like crazy stuff on Facebook. And we know this because, I run this Facebook group. Called Maximize Your Medicare Community. It's a closed community. And I posted some video on how to understand Medicare for All and the public option. It was the eve or the second day of the Democratic debates the other day. You can check it out. And anyway, so I posted the video, And someone sent me a message, and I've done this too early. We'll get to that in a moment. And here came my response. And this person right here, I don't know how to pronounce this person's last name. You're indoctrinating. I'm telling you, the information coming out, the information I continue to send, I don't have a political horse in this race. Do not. Okay. What you decide, what your opinions are, I'm not actually here to specifically influence you. And candidly, it's probably not going to make a difference. What could make a difference, however, is whether the information that you have is complete in forming an opinion. That is the point of these videos. That's the point of Maximize Your Medicare, because I promise you, 60 million beneficiary, almost nobody understands how it actually works. And from that wrongful basis, or from that misunderstanding, then serious financial decisions are being made. Actually, for me, the most serious financial decisions being made, which is haphazardly choosing Medicare. I'm a certified financial planner. I see this all the time. All the time. We don't allow our financial planning clients to proceed to show me their insurance or to show me their holdings in financial markets. I've worked and lived in the largest financial markets on 3 continents. I don't even start there. I only start at how have they considered health and how they're going to cover for the unknown, because it tells me something about the risk they face that they may or may not control. And from there, you can then start your financial plan. Anyway, I've digressed. We can see this person here. I'm indoctrinating. I'm indoctrinating. Actually, that's impossible. Now, the candid reality is, if I could indoctrinate you, I'd indoctrinate you to all become our clients tomorrow or over the last years, right? It's not possible. Impossible. Nevertheless, we hurl out, an expletive. Person I don't know, don't know this person from Adam, right? Et cetera, et cetera. We can see you through no matter what, how many times you can repeat your blah, blah, blahs. Okay. Couple things is, so this person is ejected, right? Well, first of all, this is the general page for the Facebook group. You've got to actually apply to the Facebook community, which is a closed group. The moment I see this kind of thing where we have mud hurling, you're out. I don't care what your political belief is. There's plenty of that outside of our conversation. Plenty of it. You want to look for it, you can find it. In the Maximize Your Medicare community, no, we're not going to have that. Democracy works, but no one said that the actual Facebook community is democracy. Anyway, so let's go to Mr. Sanders. Senator Sanders, sorry. Here we are here. So for people who don't know, or people who do not have a full explanation, although I'm sure it's been repeated many times and it will continue to be, right? Medicare for All eliminates all health insurance in every form, period, as we know it. All of it. It is entirely replaced by a single payer, the federal government. It will cover everyone. No, I'm not going to debate immigration status, politics here. Okay. It'll cover every American, and there's going to be a set of benefits. That's it. Okay. So that means if you're on Medicare, if you're on Medicaid, if you're on employer-provided plan, if you purchase individual health insurance, if you have retiree benefit plan, if you have Medicare Advantage, if you have Medigap, if you have a standalone prescription plan, Part D, all of it goes away. All of it. Now, from there, the federal government is not only going to provide you with the coverage, but they're also going to provide the healthcare system with the compensation. They're going to provide the healthcare system with compensation. And here's where the issues begin, right? Because most of the debate really centers around the patients, the population. But we have a system over here, right? I mean, you don't get your healthcare in isolation just, by yourself, in the bathroom. That's not what happens, right? You have to go see a doctor, and they have an orderly, and then they've got support staff, and then you may have to be admitted to a hospital, and they have regulations and safety regulation guidelines to follow. Those means extra cost. The compensation will be determined solely by the federal government. Solely by the federal government. Now, this is causing, pushback. Let's get away from the idea whether or not, the government should be the sole determinant of a price. Okay, I'm not going to settle that here. I'm not even going to try. Right? That is political philosophy 101, and that's beyond the scope of today. But what is clear is that the doctors and hospitals aren't going to like this. They've already stated this. Okay? And the reality is you can kind of understand why. Take a step back. Everyone step back. And the way that I try to explain this to people in public is the following. You're a grandmother or a grandfather. You tell your 17, 18-year-old grandchild, that grandchild says to you, I want to be medical doctor. You're the grandparent. You're going to tell that grandchild $500,000 of tuition. Competition and your success and progression through those steps is not assured. Oh, by the way, that $500,000, that's tuition. I did not talk about a place to sleep, books, food, beer, dates, movies, sports. No. Tuition. Okay. Oh yeah, by the way, unless you also overhaul our litigation system, if you make a mistake, or if you're blamed for making a mistake, your career is over. Can be over. You don't make your money back until you're in your mid-40s. Right? Until that time, you've got to go through medical school, residence, intern, fellowship, then you make your money. You have 2 mortgages, basically. And oh yeah, by the way, now the government is going to be the one that determines your pay. That is a tough job description. Tough. The hospitals are telling you that in rural locations that they don't like the system now, meaning that if they did not have private insurance, that they would not be able to stay open today. Again, I'm not here to adjudicate whether or not that is true or not. I'm pretty sure it's true. Anecdotal evidence tells me. And the simple reason is that I know of a rural hospital that accepts a Medicare Advantage HMO, does not accept the HMO, which is a narrower network and lower payment rate than they do, but they do accept the PPO. And yeah, I know lots of healthcare providers, and they intentionally cherry pick, and they don't accept HMOs under Medicare, but they do accept the PPO under Medicare. And those are Medicare Advantage plans, not for today. But to that degree, they're examining their payment rate now. So what happens when the federal government is the sole determinant? That becomes your issue. Instead, what we have here is candidate Sanders here has hurled greed at hospitals, healthcare provider, not interestingly, hospitals and insurance companies, pharmaceuticals and insurance companies. Doesn't quite want to say physicians and hospitals because, then some of those people belong to the Democratic Party, by the way. So you've got to walk this narrow line between saying what he wants to say and also not throwing bombs at the groups that, he will need their money and votes. But let's continue on to what he could have said, right? That's the negative, meaning that he's raised fear and pointing out greed in our new American pastime, right? Which is find someone to blame and point and scream loudly. That is what is going on. Okay, and don't get me wrong, that is happening left, right, and center. No matter what your point of view is, I'm pretty sure that it's not a heroic conclusion for me to describe it in that way. If Bernie called me today, I would tell him, I wouldn't have called it that. I would have focused on what actually Medicare for All does bring that you are not mentioning, not even once. And I don't know quite why. It sits over here, and I'm about to bring it up. What we have in our nation is a huge pension problem. Right? Some of you know this. The city of Chicago, the city of Detroit, Texas teachers, Teamsters Union. We have enormous problems at the state and local level. Public pension plans have a problem. Now, the pension payments are guaranteed. The retiree health care benefits are not. How do I know this? This was the subject of a Supreme Court case. The plaintiffs, the ones trying to restore benefits, lost. Okay. And this was not long ago. This is I can't remember, I want to call it the last 5 years. So the idea that the retiree health care benefits are guaranteed by law are not true. How big's the problem? So this is a website by University of Pennsylvania Wharton. It is an inferior business school when compared to my alma mater. That's a joke. Calm down. But certainly in the top tier of those, if you look at Business Week, Financial Times, and every other global ranking of business schools, what you have here is this accounting and a report on how big the problem is. Right here in this first paragraph, Moody's Investor Service recently estimated, this was less than a year ago, estimated that public pensions are underfunded by $4.4 trillion. $4.4 trillion. This is the public side, right? This is not talking about the Fortune 500. This is not talking about large employers who have pension plans and 401k plans, et cetera, and they may have been providing retiree health care benefits. These all instantly go to zero under Medicare for All. And if I get the call from Bernie Sanders, I ask him, why in the world is this not the thing that you're running with? Right? This is the one that I would publicize. I would say, look, all of these public services, our roads, our et cetera, other fiscal stresses that we have in most every municipality in our country, right? 4.4 trillion of it vanishes that problem vanishes under Medicare for All. It's pretty big, and that's not even, like I said, not even talking about the employer group. That's not, because the individual side is obvious, right? The individual side is obvious. The people are paying either the full sticker price or the subsidized sticker price, depending on if you live in a Medicaid expansion state, fine. But that price goes to zero. You're obvious. That is not the difficulty, right? The appeal of something free is pretty clear. But if I'm running for president and if my platform were Medicare for All, then this is what I would be running on. 4.4 trillion. That's not to mention the private companies, your other, and it gets this number, it gets this name. It's called other post-employment benefits. OPEB is kind of the nerdy way of summarizing it. OPEB. This is so big that, and this is why at companies you have discontinuation of benefits, or you get stipends, or you've got to go through restricted channels, or you have group Medicare Advantage. All of those obligations at the company level also go to zero. also go to zero. If I'm running for president, and if I'm running for president, and if I were the person who constructed Medicare for all, that's what I would be presenting to the American public. Hope you've liked today. Check out the other videos here on the YouTube channel. Talk to you the next time. I hope you got something from today's video. You can find more about Maximize Your Medicare, the 2020 edition to be published by Skyhorse Publishing, GH2 Benefits, a firm for financial services, and the Great Humanity Healthcare Foundation by subscribing to this YouTube channel today.